I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is Jenkins Gap. The gap's over there, mile marker 12. This is up in the Northern District, and this is a fairly large parking lot here off Skyline Drive at mile marker 12. Yep, there it is, my little red car. And I'm going to head over this way to that concrete trailhead. That takes you down here to the AT, the Appalachian Trail, but it also leads to an old road, Jenkins Trail, which takes you down the west side of the mountain. I'm going to explore the Jenkins Trail a little ways, and I'm going to be looking for some old abandoned roads down that way if I can find them. The elevation here is 2350. 1/10 of a mile into my hike. That's where I came from. Parking lot's up that way. And here's the Appalachian Trail. That's the Appalachian Trail heading north. Here's the Appalachian Trail heading south. And I don't know what 27 means, but this is the Jenkins, this is the old Jenkins Road. This goes down the side of the mountain. And I notice it's got yellow blazing. That means it's hikers or horses, either one. So this trail goes all the way to the bottom of the mountain. I've hiked this trail before. If you look on my YouTube channel, you'll find a Jenkins hike, and I'm going to go down just a short distance, then I'm going to start looking around for some old abandoned roads. It's kind of late in the season to be doing this. You can see everything's starting to get green, and that makes it really hard to find this stuff, but I'm going to go down here and see what I can find. Okay, this is looking to me like maybe the old road. I'm going to bushwhack my way down through here just a little ways and see what it looks like. Here's the Jenkins Trail right here, continuing down the side of the mountain. But I'm gonna head down here a short ways and see if I think this is the old road. It kind of looks like it. Three-tenths of a mile into my hike, I'm down to 2,240 feet. And I'm going to turn around here, hike down to a waypoint that I call Jenkins E, like Echo. This is on the old Jenkins Road, which is totally abandoned. I think I'm going to turn around and go back to the new Jenkins Trail because this is hikeable, but I'd rather hike it in the middle of the winter. This is what it looks like heading further down the side of the mountain. You can see up here now at this elevation, springtime's come and things are starting to leaf out, and thorny bushes are starting to come back up and stuff. So I'm going to turn around and head back up to the main trail, and then maybe I'll hike that down a little ways. But this is definitely hikeable, but I would rather hike it in the wintertime. Okay, down that ways where I came from, the old Jenkins Road. I'm back up on the new trail, so we'll follow this down another maybe a mile or so. There's another little turnoff I want to investigate for another road that's supposed to be down here. So let's head down on the current day trail and see if we can find this other little turnoff. There's a woodpecker over here banging away. Let's see if we can catch the sound. There you go. One mile into my hike, I'm down to 1,970 feet. That's the way I came from, and I'm at a hairpin turn here, and on my map you'll see it as Jenkins Point number 1 right here at the bend, and then there's supposed to be another old trail that heads up in this direction. So I'm gonna go up this way just a little teeny bit and take a look at this. It kind of looks like a drainage ditch now, but it could be an old road right here. So let me, you know something, as a matter of fact, now that I'm looking at it, if you look at this, the way they armored up this side here, it almost looks like it swoops up that way some, or used to. I'm going to go up this way just a little, to a couple of 100 feet, just to see if there's anything up there. And then I think I'm just going to come back here and probably head back up. I could go all the way down the west side, but I've done that before, and I've got that on a YouTube hike already. So if you're interested, you can take a look at that. But this is something I want to go up here and just take a look. And then I'm just going to, if I find anything, I'll mark it with my GPS. Then I'm going to turn around, and I think I'm going to head on back up to Skyline Drive, back up this way. .1 miles into my hike, I've been climbing a fairly steep old road. The elevation is 2020, and very interesting. I got up here to my Jenkins map point number 2, and it's all clear. There's a road up here. So, excuse me, according to my old map, it came up from the hairpin turn down there, the main trail's down there, came up here, and then took a left and headed off in this direction. But it's getting so leafed out up here, it's very hard to see now. So I'll mark this spot, and this will be another potential wintertime hike. It looks to me like it also, the road probably came from down there. So this might be a continuation of that first road that I bushwhacked down a little ways. I'll have to see how these points lay out on the map. But I'll mark this, and then I'm going to head on back down. This is another potential wintertime hike. It's a lot easier to see what's going on up here when there's no leaves. .2 miles into my hike, I'm at 2,040 feet, and okay, I couldn't stand it. I had to follow this old road back because it was heading back towards the way I came. And I'm hiking in a pretty steep canyon here, so I figured eventually this road had to run into the new road. So you'll see the old road, part of it anyway, from my GPS track. And look where I am. I'm back to the new trail right here. So this old road came in and it cut in right here at this bend. So once upon a time, it looks like that came down, and then this road came up this way and stayed at a higher elevation and went down that way. And then the other branch of the road took a steeper path down this way, heading down the west side of the mountain. When I get back home, I'm going to have to study all this data and see if I can make sense out of it. But this is definitely an old road that I'm standing on, and hiking it in the opposite direction looked like it was going to be too much of a bushwhack, but coming back this way looked doable, so I followed it back. Okay, well, so here we go. I'm heading back up towards the parking lot now. .8 miles into my hike, I'm back up on the Appalachian Trail. The elevation here is 2350, and that's where I came from. And I'm going to head south on the AT for a short distance, a couple hundred yards, looking for one more old trace of a road, and then I'll be heading back to my car. 1.9 miles into my hike. I'm up to 2380. That's where I came from. That's the Appalachian Trail. And down this way is the parking lot. And look at this. I did find the old road down through here. Now, according to my GPS, this road should take me straight back to the parking lot somehow. I don't know if I can bushwhack my way all the way, but let me go down here a little ways and see what happens. Working my way down this old abandoned road. That's where I came from. And there's the parking lot. That red car there's my car. My little red car. Man, I hope I can get there from here. Well, okay, there's my car. Maybe you can see some gravel. To the left of that is the concrete trailhead marker for the modern day trails. And look at all this cut down stuff that magically fell across this road, blocking it off. It's a real common thing you see in the park. That's one way that they block them off, is they cut brush and they just pile it up. And eventually the thorny bushes and stuff, you know, grow up and it gets so nasty nobody would dare come back in through here. But so I'm gonna have to go wide here probably to get back to my car. But anyway, yeah, this is one of the old roads up right here at the gap. Okay, well there's the old road. I had to climb up over all that brush that magically fell down there to block it. And there's the new trail, Jenkins Gap Trail. Over here's the parking lot. And up that way is Skyline Drive. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Chester Gap, 1994, and I hiked a portion of the Jenkins Gap Trail, and I also explored several different areas looking for old abandoned roads. The abandoned roads I found on some of the older maps, and I'll show you those. This is Skyline Drive coming down through here, and this is about mile marker 12. If you're coming down from the north, you make a real sharp turn back like this. It's almost a U-turn, and you park right here. And then this is, there's a new trail and an old trail. This is the new trail, the green part, and then the new trail continues down like this, down to the park boundary here. There's also an older trail, and I came down, and that's what this pink is. That was me bushwhacking along the old trail. I got down to here, point E, and I decided that I'd had enough of that. Spring has come now up in the mountains, and the trees have leaves on them, and all the nasty underbrush is starting to grow up. So what I'll do is I'll keep this in mind for a hike next winter when all the leafing is off the trees and stuff. But let me show you a couple other maps to give you an idea. Now, this is the first one of these that I've ever shown, but Shenandoah National Park, they have a website that shows who owned what parcels of land up here prior to 1935. Now, the landowner's overlay I didn't put on here because I wanted to keep the map as simple as possible. But this is Skyline Drive. There's the parking lot where I parked my car. This is the Appalachian Trail coming down through Jenkins Gap. And here is the new trail, the existing trail, like this. And here's the old trail, old Jenkins Gap Trail, like this. So I decided to see if I could find some of this, and sure enough I did. Now let me go back to the regular topo map. So I got out of my car and I hiked down to here, and then if you're not looking for old trails, you won't even see this pink part. You'll just keep coming down this way. But I was looking for this and I found it, and I bushwhacked down to here, and it's everything's getting leafed out now, and it's getting harder and harder to bushwhack. So I just marked this point with my GPS and decided I'd come back in the winter time and hike the rest of this. So then what I did was I came back to here and then just hiked down along the green here to this point right here. Then I climbed the mountain up here looking for this old section of road and found it. And then if you notice here, I've drawn in, there's two lines here. This is the existing trail coming down, and then this is a bushwhack up to here, and if you climb this, you'll eventually run into this old road, and it comes back along this way at a slightly higher elevation and eventually runs back into the existing road like that. Okay, then when I got back up to the AT, which is this dotted line here, I went south looking for this old road, found that, and then hiked it back to my car here. Now let me show you one more map. This is Front Royal, 1944, and this shows a road that I wasn't able to find. If you come here to where the split is, the old Jenkins Trail that I just talked about kind of shoots off here at like a 45-degree angle. But this road is shown going up to this saddle higher up on the mountain on Compton Peak. I didn't find this. I didn't look super hard for it, but I didn't find that. Okay, but that's... Now, an interesting thing about this is you'll notice that what they're showing here on the 1944 map, they're showing basically what they call the new Jenkins Trail with this zigzag. That tells me that this, going to this map again, that, so in 1944, they're showing this part of the trail. But there's an even older trail prior to that that went down the side of the mountain like that. So be interesting if I can find any more information about this old Jenkins Gap Trail. I mean, the maps don't show any dwellings in this area, but they wouldn't have put in all these roads, you know, just for nothing. So there was obviously people living up there back before the park was created. The park was created in 1935. So prior to that, there was this whole network of roads in through here. And this is a real interesting area, I think, to explore. This winter, I'm going to go back and look for some more roads in this area. And that was the hike for today.